Yeah, he's deployed 3 times. He's gone to Iraq and Afghanistan. Trying to see my highlights here. And he was in an Operation Iraqi Freedom in 07 and 08, his first deployment. At the time, he was like a second lieutenant. And so that was my first real experience of, wow, my son is being shipped off to war. It was very scary. And they don't tell you a lot. There was times where my son made trips where I didn't even know he left the country. And I would find out after he came home. That was really surprising to me. I was just shocked, but that's the way it was.
You were shocked that nobody told you?
That he couldn't tell me, and that he could have died, and I wouldn't have even known until after the fact that he went over for a short mission somewhere, and they would travel all over the country or out of country, and there was much I didn't know. And I'm sure that they want to protect their moms to some degree, but there's also just lots that they can't share. So that was hard. So that was his first deployment, and I think that was the time that I did get involved with Caring for Troops, or first heard of the Caring for Troops organization, and that was just a lifeline for me. A wonderful lady, Diane Brock, was instrumental in getting that organization going and started. And what they do is they would mail packages to the troops. If you had a family member that was overseas, you could mail them a care package. And Diane and all her volunteers, they would get donations from the businesses here, and they were able to get the prepaid postage boxes, and we would go there once a month and pack up boxes for all these soldiers. You could go and pack a special box for your soldier. And it was just really comforting to be able to go there and know that there was kind of somebody, an organization in control that would indeed get a package to my son, because first of all, it's super expensive to mail things overseas. And then you didn't even know if your son would ever get it, your soldier would get it, because it might be confiscated if you put the wrong thing in there. One time I mailed a package, it was easily over $100, and it broke my heart. My son never got it. I don't know if it was lost at the post office or confiscated or what, but you know what? He asked for a pillow. He just wanted a pillow to lay his head on, because he was on a cot, and so he asked for a pillow and a sheet, and I just thought, that's all he wanted, was a pillow and a sheet, some little comfort items, and he never got it. He never got it. So this organization, they knew kind of how to send the packages in a way that they would probably make it through and get there and not be confiscated. There were certain things that we couldn't send, so they knew to follow the rules, and so that was fun. Never really probably sent anything super expensive, or because you didn't know if they were going to get it, But that was one of the things that my son said that really was a blessing, to receive those packages. So I was very grateful for that organization, and because there would be times where some soldiers they didn't have a family. Nobody was sending them anything. And my son, we were able to ask, is there somebody there, that needs a package that doesn't get anything? And we would say, please share your packages. And so they would look after these soldiers that didn't have anything and weren't getting any support from anyone, anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they would share their packages. So that was really nice. And it was just nice to have other moms there that were in the same boat. Mm-hmm. Their kid was gone too. And it was really nice to have somebody that understood your burden and was there praying for you, and they, just loved the military, loved the veterans, loved our soldiers, and were looking out for him. And it was just
How long was he
Great.
there?
Well, that deployment was for a year, and at the time when they were going to be shipped over for a year, they would get a break and get to come home at a certain time. And but that was a long 6 months to wait. We didn't always hear from them. I feel blessed nowadays. Social media, they were able to email sometimes, and we didn't do FaceTime or anything like that, but there's an Army organization for the families called FROG. I don't remember what it stands for, but every once in a while they would send out an update, and there might be pictures in it, and you'd be looking, is my son in that picture? Or they might talk about people in their unit, and you just like, oh, they're alive, and here's something they're doing. You just relished any word that you would get. And the media, we would hear things. You're pretty tuned into the media. You just live for the news. I just had it on all the time, listening to what was going on over in Iraq. But I always knew that the media is getting the news before I would ever know of anything happening. So you'd hear of, at the time, there was lots of soldiers being killed over there. And you just wonder, is it my son? Is it going to be on the news before I hear it? Are they going to come knocking at my door? How does that happen? And when does that happen? Pray to God, thankful that it never did happen. But one of the highlights, you're waiting for that break on that tour when they get to come home. Probably the most special time in my life happened one day. My son, my youngest son, our youngest child, came walking in the house, and he's like, Mom, there's a soldier walking across the cul-de-sac, looks like Trevor. And I'm thinking, he was like 8 or 9. I was like, oh, honey, no, it's not Trevor. He's in Iraq, And so I didn't think anything about it, but we were getting ready to go out, and I was going to go to the pizza parlor to pick up pizza or something. And by that time, I walk outside, and lo and behold, I wanted to drop to my knees. Here comes my soldier walking across the cul-de-sac. Still had Iraqi dirt on his uniform.
Wow.
He walked straight from the airport. He surprised me. He let on to nobody that he was coming home early. I don't know why he came home early. I never heard what was going on, if something happened. But he got a cab from the airport, and he told the cab driver lady what was going on. And I walked out, and all I saw was this white van across the cul-de-sac with a lady with the window rolled down, just kind of smiling, watching. And she got to watch the whole thing. I'm just running to him, and he picks me up, and I was just like, oh, it was such a blessing I love surprises. But it's really hard to surprise me. I really catch on, and I'm looking for him sometimes. And he totally surprised me. I had no idea that was coming. And it was the best gift in the whole wide world to see your soldier walk home alive.
Is that the first time he came home?
That was the first time, yeah. A very vivid memory I'll never forget. And the second time, he went to Operation Enduring Freedom in 2010 and 2011. And I believe we made it a point, to make sure we got to see him when he came home from those tours. And so I got to go to one time when he came home. I think it was that in 07, 08. I went to his home and got the keys from a friend and decorated his home to, have welcome home stuff. And then he didn't know I was coming to welcome him home. So I got to surprise him and make a big sign. And when he walked off that plane into that hangar, you can't see your soldier. They all look alike. There's hundreds of them. And you're just waiting and waiting to make that eye contact with your soldier, and it's such a wonderful feeling, you know, to have them, your baby, your firstborn baby in your arms and hug them, that they've made it home safely, you know, and to just see all these soldiers walking off that plane with their backpacks on and their heavy load, and they're back home. It's pretty special.